Hey folks, thought I'd do something a little different today. I came across a whole bunch of photographs that I took in the mid 1990s. These particular ones I'm going to show you now are from ones I took for a movie company. They were looking for various props and such for the movie In Cold Blood. So I took a ton of photographs and yeah, might as well show them to you. These are all from a particular warehouse in Winnipeg. Most of this stuff is long gone, so yeah, probably no reason to run down there to try to rescue it because, like I said, they've cleared out floors and such, and a lot of this is long gone. But this will just show kind of what was around at that time. What you see in this first one is two movie projectors, but these particular ones have what appear to be doorknobs used for their knobs, and they're Bakelite. They're a swirl caramel Bakelite. Each knob now sells for roughly anywhere from $25–$30 US to about $100 US a piece. So potentially there's up to $1,000 in doorknobs sitting there. At the time, they wouldn't have been worth that at all, unfortunately. But they're long gone. I know that. I've looked for them. And this is some new old stock clothing racks. The towel or drying racks, and you'll see in the corner there's some baskets, some locker baskets. They had a whole whack of them. They're all gone now. I bought a whack of them. And the movie companies used to love this place because they had a lot of new old stock that could be used in period films. These are those 1970s, early 80s potato chip trays you used to get at restaurants and takeout places. They're kind of cool. These are eyeglass guards or eye guards. These particular ones were there because they had bought some military surplus and they were used for training purposes. But they were also used in various sports, basketball, baseball, etc., as eyeglass guards as well. These were military marked, but they sold well to collectors of sports memorabilia. And if you needed thermoses, they had tons. Sunglasses, again, tons, shelves of them. Nothing terribly, no terribly valuable. There's no brand names or anything. They're all kind of generic, cheapy gas station brands. They had some of these scales, a lot of platform scales and such, because they bought out various businesses and bankruptcies and warehouses and that sort of thing over the last, or the previous 30–40 years. New old stock fishing reels. There's flashlights, again, new old stock. A lot of this stuff at the time wasn't selling terribly well or anything. When eBay came along, a lot of guys flooded this place and picked up a lot of stuff, but including myself. This is just a shot of various restaurant stools, and there's a ashtray stand there, mid-century modern. And the mid-century modern stuff, there was lots of it, but at the time there was nobody that wanted it. It was the mid-90s. Nobody was really going after so much of it. Eventually it started to sell. And linoleum, vintage linoleum, new old stock, never been rolled out. I sold some of this to that movie company as well, which they used in some of the homes that they filmed in. Again, you can see some mid-century pieces here and here. More linoleum. They had rolls and rolls and rolls of it. I sold a fair bit of it for them. And you can see a couple Herman Miller type chairs, probably Herman Millers, more than likely back here, and actually there's one right there, I think, too. So yeah, there was quite a few interesting things there. More linoleum, rolls and rolls and rolls of it. That's all new old stock with those old patterns on them. Really, they were really cool. If you were into vintage clothing, there was tons of it. There was vintage denim, although the denim wasn't brand name Lee or Levi or GWG. It was all mostly local manufactured brands, but still, there was still chore coats and lots of stuff like that. And there's more of them. More vintage clothes, more denim, lots of denim. Hats, they had boxes and boxes and boxes of hats. New old stock belts on cards. There was one dealer that was putting together lots of them and selling them as rockabilly belts, so like Western type belts. There's some more cards of them. More vintage clothes. There was lots of vintage clothes hanging around. Belts. More vintage clothes. More vintage clothes. And more vintage clothes. There was all kinds, a lot of 50s, 60s, 70s stuff, especially 70s stuff. And yeah, all sorts of stuff. More vintage clothing. Always tons of it. They had uniforms, had medical uniforms. Military issue, most of it. There's a drink dispenser from probably the 60s, I would say. Yeah, and there was a Pepsi cooler there that I'm sure they sold or rented quite a few times. They had a restaurant wares area that had a lot of these Dixie cup holder things. And this was all sewing notions, basically buckles and that sort of stuff. More buckles, all new old stock, boxes and boxes of them. And string for your general store string holders. And these are full of thread. They had cases and cases of new old stock military issue thread for I guess manufacturing uniforms. There was cards that were put in with the housewife packets that were issued to soldiers and that sort of thing. They had tons of them at one time. Myself and other dealers snapped those up. I would have bought them all had I been financially able to, but there was just so much of it that it was difficult. These are crates of new old stock little Oilers that I think one dealer bought them all. And need a gas can. There was lots of them at one time. These are garbage cans that have kind of a wood grain finish. And hardware. There was lots of house hardware, so if you'd like new old stock 50s door hardware and letter slots and that sort of thing, there was lots of that at one time. These are door stops, prevent the door from banging on the wall. I bought the boxes of them. And this is more hardware, lots of hardware. Like I said, most of this is all long gone, so don't go running looking for it because it's gone. There's some industrial lighting, and at the time it wasn't a big seller, so yeah, I didn't grab grab as much of this sort of stuff as I would have liked to. I liked the stuff, but it just wasn't selling at the time. Arborite, they had new old stock rolls and rolls of it, tubes of it, which I sold to In Cold Blood. If you've seen my video on selling to the movies, this is one of the things I sold to them, were rolls of this stuff. Another pattern. More. And office stuff. They had tons of office stuff, of course. Buying out offices of all kinds and businesses of all kinds. This sort of stuff is selling now, but at the time was just props. Nobody really wanted it, except for movie purposes and actual use. And some more of it. So anyway, that's about all. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the photos and some past potential picks, I suppose you could say. Anyway, happy picking, guys. Take care.